Welcome to the ESI Africa studio. Today I'm speaking with Patrick Mwesige, who is from the Energy Utility Corporation in Rwanda, and he works there as a project manager looking at customer engagement and metering solutions. Welcome, Patrick.
Thank you, Nicolette.
Today we're going to be talking about how a utility can better manage their customer engagement and become more resilient in the market. So looking at what utilities are currently doing or not doing to bolster the link between customer engagement and the utility's bottom line. It's all about the money.
Thank you, Nicolette. We tend to see about two opposite ends in utilities generally across the region. We see those that are working conventionally, just supply the energy and the customer pays the bills and that's it. Simple, basic. But then we are increasingly seeing many utilities advancing as technology has advanced, moving towards the customer and actually putting a lot of facilities in place to enable the customer to choose how they want to be served, when they are served, at what price and that. And this effectively is enabling the customers to decide what they want to do with the service as opposed to the utility dictating what the service is. So along this continuum, we see a movement from the basic conventional utility that just delivers energy and you pay to the engaged utility that gives the customer the liberty to choose when they are served, how they are served, and even at what price. And we see that in this context, many utilities are actually optimizing their assets. They are working better because typically most utilities tend to have fixed costs, either in generation or those that are purchasing energy, they have fixed power purchase agreements. So the more they sell, the more they make. And it is increasingly evident now that for an engaged customer, you can have better sales even at a lower cost. So it's a question of increasing revenue and also minimizing the cost exposure that the utilities tend to have. That's what we are seeing.
So giving the customer more freedom as to how they then liaise with the utility, does that not put a lot of pressure onto utility staff to learn new skills, technology-wise or other?
It's a big challenge for many utilities, but remember that the entire customer service regiment in other things has changed. Customers or utilities are saying, why don't you be like the bank? Why don't you be like the telecom? I choose what I do and when I do it. But we have also found, for example, in many utilities, that more than 50% of their revenues come from less than 1% of their customers. You can imagine. So if you can understand who these customers are and what their needs are, you have secured more than 50% of your revenues. And these tend to be even the large customers. So it means that if they can engage with you and they know when to, for example, to shift their consumption from the peak time to the off-peak time, they can get better rates. And yet, the facilities of the utility could have been idle in the off-peak. So you see that helps. But internally in utilities, we are seeing a challenge for many of the staff to reorient themselves, to think about the customer as a customer, not the old engineering style of saying there is load, there are ratepayers and things like that. So to look at the customer as the primary reason actually why they existed in the first place. So it's pressure from the community, it's pressure as technology advances, but we're also seeing that it's also pressure from the regulators because they are setting KPIs and metrics to which the utilities get rewarded if they excel along those paths. So it's a continuing challenge, but I think it's also an adaptation to many of the utilities to retrain their staff, to retool them, to arm them with technologies and things like that.
I have seen some utilities using platforms such as Twitter to engage with their customers and seeing their customer in a new light.
Yes.
But taking it back to technology and the metering side of the business, how does the meter then advance to be more customer-centric?
For example, we have seen that with smart meters, customers are able also to monitor their own consumption. In the old style, it's only the utility who knew how much you're consuming at what time. So, for example, take residential customers with prepaid metering facilities. I buy my units, I log them in my meter, I see I have 50 units this morning, I come in the afternoon, I have 25. Then I can find around what is happening, what have I done? Oh, I have a party this weekend, I need to load more, you see. So we have seen that this technology actually is enabling the customers to be controlling their own destiny as far as the sales and marketing relationships are concerned with the utilities. Yes.
Patrick, lastly, tell me, what trends do you see in the future in terms of customer engagement through the utility?
I see, like we said at the beginning, on this continuum, I see a huge force pushing the utilities to hand over the reins of control to the customers, because it's not going to be something that will go away. The pressure is just going to increase. The regulators are going to demand more of these to be part of the facilities with which the utilities serve their customers, because in many of the utilities in Africa, they are monopolies. So on their own, they may not do it, but through regulation, through procedures, through the push from other technological platforms, Twitter and so forth, like you have said, utilities are under pressure to shape up, or else the world is going to be completely different for them.
So the pressure is going to increase.
Yes, it can only increase.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Patrick.
Thank you, Nicolette. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for watching. I'm Nicolette Pomba-van Zyl, editor of ESI Africa, broadcasting from the African Utility Week studio.